get out and kind of set up for more Giganks. And you do have scaling, which is kind of what Azir just wants to sit in lane and scale, so you've got the Veigar on the opposite side. But I mean, I think the big thing here is like, do you see something like the Vex? Like, what can Diplex bring out? Because it feels like you need to bring something a little bit funky, and it's actually going to be the Twisted Fate here. So maybe this is where we get to see Vitality.Bee actually playing much heavier towards Shigenda in that top side if they want to.
Yeah, but also it gives great coverage for the bot lane because Ezreal, Karma are going to be pushing in bot. They're going to be trying to take plates, and now you have a stronger ganking jungler with a mid laner who can perma cover with that ultimate. You know, we typically see the Azir as a neutralizer, but I'm just not sure it'll do enough when you know you can just pop that ultimate, be down there in a pinch. And we see Reckless go for that MF. Is able to trade quite well into most lanes, but you're still going to get bullied out here. And critically, no dash to get out the Cataclysm.
Yeah, crucially, you can ult the wave, though. So if we're talking about dives towards that bottom side, MF can do well in terms of just thinning that wave before the dive can come on through. We'll see if that worked for Reckless. It didn't work necessarily that well earlier on in the series. And then the final lock-in, it's Cavachard going with this Renekton once more. It worked in game number 4. Happy with that pickup.
I mean, I could easily see a Jace coming through here for Shigenda if they wanted to, like, try and play at that range. Especially, when you only have the Azir there, like, you have a good amount of opportunities to, like, follow up on deep plays coming through for the Twisted Fate. You can play up towards that top side as well. But, I mean, honestly, you've got a ton of opportunities here for Shigenda to kind of pick the litter.
Yeah, I feel like this makes sense in my mind, taking the Scion, because it means when it gets to those later stages, you have this insane front line that can kind of withstand the damage. It means that you have something also that you can play a bit weak side, and you could fully commit to this bot lane. Scion, one of the better champions for playing on the other side of the map when he's going to be threatened with dives, because obviously the zombie form makes it very difficult. A lot of wave clear. Now, this to me is Vitality.Bee. We are going to crush bot and win the game off the back of that.
We'll see if they're going to be able to pull it off. I mean, there's a lot of proactivity for Vitality.Bee here. Dagda, though, K-Corp, what are you expecting the game plan to be?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's kind of similar story, right? You're going to be playing pretty heavily up towards Cabalshard to a certain extent, so the Renekton plays all right, but I do feel like you've got to try and deal with this bottom side of the map, but you've got to make sure that Seiken has good push in mid, is able to help facilitate that, because post 6, it can be very easy for Diplex to kind of cheat that priority down towards the bot lane and help out. So I think this is going to be a big test for Karmine Corp to see how they can deal with Vitality.Bee's early game.
We'll have to see if they can pull it off. I'm getting surrounded by a Vitality.Bee that's buzzing around my head currently. I'm excited for this one, though. We finally get 5 games, and it's in the LFL Derby here in the Amazon EU Masters semi-finals. We're going to game 5, and we'll see who will make it forward into our finals against the LFL first seed LDLC.
Oh, getting a cheeky level 1, it looks like. I'll have to see if Jessica should spot this out, though.
Yeah, and this is so important because if you burn sums from this Vitality.Bee bot lane, it can make all the difference. Kind of talking about how, you know, Hantera, it's hard to punish them on the Rakan. If they're flashless, it can make all the difference, and then suddenly they can't play as aggressive. They have to respect ganks, and it can really diminish the pressure. So although it doesn't work, I like the fact that K-Corp looked for some sort of play like this, because especially game 5 in the series, you start to forget about these strategies. You're more focused on other things, talking about what the game plan is. One mistake can cost the whole series.
One thing I will say for the side of Vitality.Bee is I like that they're still changing things up. 5 games into a series, and it doesn't feel like they've run out of strategies. Dagda, earlier on in the series, you were talking about the playbook from Vitality.Bee, and it feels like that playbook is very, very deep. The draft strategies available are very, very deep, and all the way into game number 5, we're still seeing fresh strategies.
Yeah, and this definitely feels like something where you kind of lean into the strength of what Vitality.Bee has been throughout EU Masters, which is these set plays, looking for dives, like pushing with Jessica and Jack Troll, having Diplex work with Skeens to make these kills happen towards the bottom lane. This has been something that's been the bread and butter of Vitality.Bee, and it feels like they're kind of ramping into that, playing heavily into that, seeing if they can finally crack through that blue wall.
There it begins.
Yeah, he's not going to have a fun lane. That's a lot of harass that's going to come out from Jeskla and Jack Troll, unless they overextend and get caught. Remember, they are fairly squishy, so Hantara, if he finds an opportunity later, will be able to do a lot of work.
I like the jungle pathing that we're seeing coming through here for 113. They move in, they get the early vision ward, realize Skeens is not starting on his blue. They'll just spot him as he comes over the wall there. And you can see 113 is basically pacing himself, so he's always keeping in contact with Skeens here, making sure there's no way that any sort of early plays can come down onto that bottom side. Maybe even having the opportunity to turn something back onto Jessica and Jack Troll if they take that step too far.
I think one of the interesting things as well on this top side of the map is the fact that Shigenda has decided now that he's not going to play carry anymore. we're changing away from the strategy. We're going just for the tank matchup, which Shigenda, I feel like, across the course of this tournament, has preferred to be on the carries. Like, we saw him on the Akali earlier on in the series. It was something to behold. But when it comes down to game number 5, deciding that Jeskla is the man that they're going to rely on for the damage.
Yeah, especially when you look like 3 OR games, including the ones that we've seen this series now, the Sion picked for the first time. It does feel like he's kind of straying away from that and kind of understanding, look, if there's going to be a ton of pressure coming my way, I need to be able to go, right, I'm going to kind of absorb this, take a step back. Yes, I'll lose out on some creeps, but hopefully the rest of my team can carry. And I think it kind of shows the versatility of Shigenda in and throughout EU Masters.
Although we haven't seen anything crazy come out with the first clear from either jungler, just been fairly standard. Both going to trade off scuttles, and we see Skeen's going to reset and then pinging towards the Krugs on the top side. And ultimately, no pressure come out on Shigenda yet. But I feel like as you kind of set up in the draft, Rob, 113 needs to be finding some momentum, particularly for this Renekton, because if you just let this lane scale up, the Sion does become really difficult to kill. And I think particularly when I look at this Vitality.Bee comp in the mid game, TF 2-item spike with the Everfrost rapid fire, so hard to deal with that extended range and the CC layering. And Ezreal, I mean, we've always talked about his 2-item spike. That is such a big point for this comp.
I also think you've got like a really nice setup for Vitality.Bee here as well, even if you don't technically want to try and play for like picks with this TF, right? In team fights, you know Cabo Shard 113 are all going to be jumping in on top of you, same with Reckless. You have good ability to kind of kite back with Jack Troll, with Diplex kind of being able to provide the CC. Even then, like Skeens having that flag and drag away, but the opportunity to turn around with a Cataclysm or lock people up with a Cataclysm, and then you can kind of take the fight at your pace. So I think for Vitality.Bee, as Ox is pointing out, the mid game and the way they play these team fights can give them that edge.
So priority in the mid lane, Forsaken. It means 113 can just push it, take these chickens for himself, which has been a consistent theme in this series. We kept on seeing 113 finding opportunities for the chickens, but we'll see that across the course of this bottom lane, you'll see Reckless fall behind massively in CS, and then it'll build back up again. Because as you can see, massive stacked wave here that Vitality.Bee are going to crash in. The question is, can they find harass? Can they find damage? Or can they maybe find a dive? Because Skeens is here as well. Reckless might just get zoned away from this, or maybe he doesn't close that CS gap again.
Oh, that's so painful. Plate lost and so much CS as well. This is really just a thorn in the side.
Good attempt by Hantera, just a bit of damage going down onto him. Reckless finally going to be able to sweep up a couple of these minions, but look at the deficit right now, 20 CS in favor of Jeskla.
And I love the way Skeens has done this, right? He's actually skipped 2 of his camps to get down here on this wave, whereas when you look across at 113, he was still trying to clear out his top side fully, so 113 is slower down to this bottom lane, and it just kind of shows how a lot of these junglers will look to try and desync off of the first clear, so you can try and make these plays without the enemy jungler showing up.
And I think you see how much difference, even just a little bit of jungle pressure there. Skeens didn't actually really do anything other than just show up, and that is enough to make such a big difference. Now, 113 is hovering, but I think this might just be cover for K-Corp to push the wave in. Reckless has no mana, and Tara's already a bit chunked. I think he just wants to make sure nothing bad happens, and they will be able to clear out this wave and then should just back off for the reset.
Yeah, looks like they're going to do exactly that. And, you know, we're talking about Skeens changing up his jungle pathing to help his bot lane there. And, you know, he even gets a little bonus, because sure, he's not farming during that time, but he got to share in that plate. So, you know, little bonus for the action towards that bottom side. You can feel the tension, though, in this game, right? It's game number 5, and right from the very start, we're playing this very slow and steady.
Well, look, at least 113 there did spot out Skeens just as he's going for the reset. So, looking at his CS numbers, you know he's just done 2 camps. So, now you can start to kind of piece together again as 113. Okay, where should I be? How do I need to try and approach this? So, already you can see him not actually going for a reset himself, instead pathing back up towards this top side, because he knows that he needs to be there in case Skeens tries to make some sort of play with Shigenda, or even the level 6 that has been hit from Diplex.
So that's the big question now, right? Diplex, level 6. This is the point we always have to talk about with Twisted Fate. Now he can make plays around the map, but he's not had priority in this mid lane, so it feels like that might be difficult.
Ultimately, I feel like you don't necessarily need to make plays now. I think a big aspect of the TF is coverage, right? Your bot lane is winning the 2v2 really hard. If Skeens goes down there, makes a play, even if you don't have priority mid, you know that even if Saken walks down first, you will still be able to make up the difference. Oh, big heavy trade
damage on Hantera. He's low on HP, ignited. Ooh. Had that Q hit from Jeskla, maybe there's an angle to go for more, but Reckless did still have heal, so Hantera ultimately survives, doesn't use a summoner, so it's actually a net positive technically for K-Corp.
But critically, look at this massive wave once again being stacked. It's Reckless alone to defend here. We'll see if they can zone him off for many of this farm.
I take it back, it was not a net positive after all.
You got to be so careful as well because you don't know where Skeens is, and he could either show up in mid, like unlock Diplex there if he wants, or as you can see now, just make his own way down to this bottom side as the wave is crashing. But you've got Seiken and 113 on the way.
Well, that's one plate going their way as Skeens moves over into the river to try and cover as well. I think he might have actually started the Drake off for himself as Jeskler continues to try and harass now. Remember, he has Flash Andy.
But this is a critical thing. We saw Seiken have prior move first, but the TF means that even though the enemy mid moves first, you're still able to match. So nothing happens, which means it's a positive for Vitality.Bee, and they'll secure the dragon on that as well. This is the pivotal thing with this TF. It's just enabling your lanes to function without threat.
And again, even as you start to progress into the game, right, you now have the opportunity with these dragons picked up to go, oh, well, maybe we don't have to team fight, right? Maybe we can then start to look at, right, we've got Jeskler and Jack Troll who are top side. Let's trade second dragon for a tier 1 in the top side. Or maybe we change that over for some other objective, right? Like, it's about giving yourself options as Vitality.Bee as to how you want to enable this bot lane to start to snowball further.
Every time I see Poke land on a Reckless, I just feel a bit of pain in my heart.
Oh, that's going to be the ult coming out from Reckless to try and clear the way from Terra, having to block the Mystic shot there from Jeskler. That was a little close. Remember, Reckless did still have heal available, but I feel like we're seeing Vitality.Bee completely change their style from this game. Like game number 1 and 2, the two that Vitality.Bee won, it was all about fast, aggressive gameplay. Feels like game number 5, though, they're kind of saying to K-Corp, look, you can't just dominate us in the lane phase like you did in 3 and 4.
But really, I mean, Cabashot is looking to try and dominate in this side and has picked up the Hull Breaker to cause some issues for Sagenda. And you can see he's just trying to get as many plays as possible, which, you know, it's a valid strategy because you need that early momentum. K-Corp haven't really been able to establish something top, but if you organically find that extra gold, it can make all the difference.
And this feels like a very similar story to game 1 and game 2, where 113 was trying to put out fires rather than being proactive, right? 0-0-0, but may that change.
Destiny being used here. It's going to be taken by Skeens, a double knock-up as well, as now the rest of the team moves on in. But Skeens 1 HP, taking out first blood for Cabashon, and Seiken's here as well. Diplex gets the stun. Can they find something more here? But Jack Troll cut down. 113 charging forwards. KC, they lose the Herald, but they get 2 kills. And Cabashon once more. Diplex falls under the tower, and KC get 3.
And I don't know why you're here as Vitality.Bee. The whole draft is centered around your bot lane, playing around your bot side, and they play without Jeskler. And now Karmine Corp completely pick apart Vitality.Bee, and they may look for more.
They're going to try and go into the tower again. Heal comes out. That's Seiken, low HP. Jeskler goes forward, but the shield comes on out. And now Hantera saves the day, takes down Shigenda. And Cabashard will happily tank the tower. It's gone from bad to worse for Vitality.Bee.
Absolute disaster. I mean, the only consolation prize is that they got the Herald, but now a 2k gold deficit off the back of that play, and it just felt like K-Corp were ready for the fight, and Vitality.Bee just weren't.
I mean, look, at least they'll get to put down the Herald and get some gold into Jeskler, but as you say, that's not going to even up that gold lead whatsoever, and this was just messy.
Yeah, and this is... You pick the Renekton for those Herald fights. He's so relevant here. Like, Jack Troll walks in, Magic Q doesn't connect, and this Renekton with the ultimate is just in the mix doing so much constant damage.
And it wasn't even Jack Troll's Q that missed. You see Shigenda's Q mix onto the knockup from Cabashard, so Cabashard stays standing. He's now relevant and a part of this, and it just feels like it's all over the joint.
Oh no, Jester now in trouble, has his flash available, does flash the knockup, can he survive the slow? Goes slightly wide, he will get under the tower, Oh, it doesn't matter. The bullets are there. Reckless flashing for the kill.
And that's some karma from the laning phase from Reckless. I'm sure he enjoyed that one.
See what you did.
Karma. I like it. I like it.
This is the thing, right? Like, again, you're kind of seeing Jack Troll moving because, like, we want to unlock Diplex. We want to see if we can make plays with Diplex, but it leaves Jeskler exposed, and that gold going into the TF isn't going to carry your fights. It needs to be Jeskler who is getting those resources.
And look, if we need one positive thing for Vitality.Bee right now, at least they've got synergy, because it's not one player that's died a bunch of times. Everyone's 0, 1, and 0. At least it's clean.
Dying as a team. And the thing is, getting mid-tier 1 is so valuable, especially against, a Azir who is hard to take the tower against. But ultimately, you're going to get more gold in the side lane where you can typically take the full tower and get that first blood. So, yes, they're trying to get a structure that'll make more sense in the long run, but the gold deficit is still there.
Oh, 113 could be in trouble here. The root going to come on through. Destiny channel. There's True Shot Barrage. Big damage at 113. Can they finish the bear? Can Cataclysm to finish the job. Jester trying to chase Reckless out the top side of the fight. Seiken can't do much about it. And Vitality finally get their first kill on the board.
You have a TP down to the bottom side for Cabal Shard, so it's trying to get Reckless out of the top end of things, because Vitality could look for a second one, but we'll go back to just moving towards the mid lane. And I mean, nice job from Vitality.Bee just to get those picks happening for themselves, at least get themselves some semblance of control back in this game.
Yeah, anytime they're shutting down the pressure from K-Corp, get him some gold back in return, definitely feels good, especially as we head towards that mid game. The 2 item spikes, or I expect a big resurgence from Vitality.Bee.
Kabashard just making sure he can't go for the recall. Seems a little aggressive to go under the tower, but Shigenda going to try and channel it once again. Kabashard not going to pull the trigger a second time. Will allow the recall to go through.
Yeah, Shigenda, though, is able to TP in onto the spot lane. If you want, you've got a ton of members of Vitality.Bee here, and it looks like they're going to try and fight for this dragon.
Kabashard gets 2 plates off the back of that one, but will be knocked up. Jeskler is here. Have they got the damage to finish the croc? Because now it's turned around.
Oh my
on
lord.
top of Jeskler. He's gone. He's eradicated. Jack Troll will be the same story. And now Seiken chased by Schemes, but the bullet time over everyone. Shigenda has to back away. He's on the wrong side of the play, and Seiken survives it all. Now Schemes finishes off the bird. Can Diplex and Schemes turn things around? It's a 2v3 here. You got to believe that K-Corp should be able to get this Drake, but Schemes doesn't have Smite available. Neither does 113. The wild card, the Lightning, takes it.
Vitality.Bee are falling apart, though. They have the chance to find the fight, but they overextend, and Cabal Shard rinses Jeskla, takes out the damage source, and Karmine Corp are starting to take over.
And you just have to respect the Renekton more. Jeskla being in range that had the Arcane Shift to get away lets the CC layering come in, and yeah, if you stand in melee range off of Renekton, he will one-shot you,
and the thing
especially when he's this fed.
He Arcane Shifted into that with no flash, so you're completely out of position and didn't even have the follow-up of his team. Jack Troll had somehow ended up on the far side of the wall. Diplex doesn't have the ult to try and follow up. That ended up just being a 2v2 where Cabal Shard has more damage and the ability to take over.
And speaking of Kabashard, what a game 5 he is having on this Renekton. He played it in game number 4 as well, and he's playing it against the organization that he spent the majority of his career on, and now, by the looks of things right now, he's on the cusp of reverse sweeping.
And it's a complete turnaround from what we've seen earlier in this series. Vitality.Bee were playing the map better. Vitality.Bee were the ones getting control of objectives, control of early kills, but instead now we're seeing it's Karmine Corp who are getting these objectives, getting these kills, turning back the plays of Vitality.Bee, and finally it's game 3 now. Karmine Corp, could it be their chance to get the first reverse sweep in Amazon EU Masters history, but also to potentially put them into that finals against LDLC where they can do the three-peat?
That would be insane, wouldn't it? It would be their 3rd finals in the row, but it's not over just yet. They've got a 2,000-3,000 gold lead in their favor right now. It's even on Drake's. Talk to me, guys. What can Vitality.Bee do? How do they get themselves back on the horse here? How do we have a great game 5?
I think the critical thing is playing around the 2 item spikes. They're so significant for your mid and AD carry. I don't think you need to opt into heavy fights now. And then when you start playing out those fights, better target selection. You have such good CC layering, single target damage when it comes to like the Ezreal and the Twisted Fate. Pick a target, finish them off, move on, and work as a unit.
And I think as well, you're kind of seeing here, right? Vitality.Bee committing a lot of resources to places where Karmine Corp have already set up, have already taken the objective. Now you're stuck on the top side of the map and there's a Rift Tower going mid.
They want to go for Kabashard, but dashes over the wall. He's completely safe. So as you say, they're not really playing multiple plays on the map. Herald taken, while Seiken also just pushes bot by himself completely uncontested.
Yeah, I mean, Karmine Corp are just in such a better position here. It feels like Vitality.Bee haven't really understood how they're supposed to try and set up these lanes. They didn't play around Jeskla early. Now it's Karmine Corp who have control of the map. And when they're the ones like pushing in this Twisted Fate, he can no longer try and cover as Karmine Corp make these plays around the map.
Yeah, ultimately mid has just naturally lost out. Seiken being so proficient in the laning phase. Top lane from all those kills, Kabashard got in those skirmishes is hugely far ahead. And then Reckless is a minor discrepancy in CS. It's actually even now. So in a fantastic position, they're going to push down and try and take this tier 1 mid.
Big damage on Shigenda, but trying to return it onto 113. There's a knockup coming on through Huntera, trying to escape. Bullet time across the team, but everybody dodging most of the damage. Reckless forced to flash. A lot used here, but nothing comes of it just yet. Kabashard on the top side of the play, but can't quite close the gap because of the projectile.
I actually think this is fine for Vitality.Bee. Critically, you manage to defend the mid-tier 1, right, and stop the Herald, and you have Reckless's Flash. If you play for that next Dragon in the mid-30, and you get a Cataclysm onto Reckless, he should die. And this is closed in on that 2-up spike we were talking about.
Yeah, also able to stop the pressure on the top side as well, so kind of shutting down multiple different angles of attack, but you still have to be careful in the mid lane. Seiken looking for the swoop and boop.
Looking for an opportunity, but won't find it for the time being. Mid lane going to be protected, and I want to revisit a point we talked about a couple of times throughout the series. Reckless against a Twisted Fate here, opting for that heal once more. You're talking about his lack of flash. Well, if Destiny is anywhere nearby, Diplex can jump in, get the gold card, stopwatch, and keep himself safe.
Yeah, and critically, we now have that spike that we're talking about coming in with the Rapid Fire and the Everfrost. This is, despite the goal discrepancy, a time when Vitality.Bee can play around that spike. The extra range, if anyone steps close, you just gold card, then you layer the Everfrost, and you all try and burst them down.
The problem is that Cabochard has a ton of control on this top side, so he's just holding there, waiting to see what the game plan is for Vitality.Bee, and it feels like Vitality.Bee are trying to be stretched thin here and trying to respond to top side, trying to respond to the pressure on Dragon, and they need to kind of commit to one of these plays, and it is going to be top side.
They are going to commit towards Cabochard here. They want to punish this Croc. He's been too far up the lane for too long. Gold card after the flash. Everfrost is there as well. Exhaust, a knock up, more shields, more gold cards. There's so much damage, and now Seiken arrives, but he's too late to the play. He has to run off, but it's to the wrong side of the map. And here's Jeskler to stop him escaping. The Emperor's Divide is there, but it's Seiken to fall. And Hantera now has to be the one to sprint away. Destiny going to be used. Hantera stopped from escaping. And it feels like every single member of K-Corp, one by one, has walked into the open jaws of Vitality.
And that only needed to be one kill for Vitality.Bee, but they're all in this mentality of, oh, I can help, I can save my teammate. It ends up being a huge cleanup and a ton of gold over towards Vitality.Bee.
That was so worth for Vitality.Bee. What could have just been one pick now has gotten them right back within touching distance of that gold, gives them the tempo advantage that they need to start trying to make these plays, and they just needed to let Cabo die. Like, this is totally fine. If Cabo Shark goes down, you get the bot lane, or you get the dragon, you get potential mid lane turn, but everyone committed on towards the top side, but they don't go for the cross map. They invest everything to keep Cabo up, and they just knock themselves down.
Great little arcade shift from Jeskler there to dodge the Emperor's Divide too. Good mechanics from him. And, Hantera arrives just a little bit too late. And perhaps with the Emperor's Divide, maybe they can find Jeskler or something if Hantera finds a knock-up, but doesn't work out for them. Now Vitality.Bee with a little bit more control within 1,000 gold.
And I think ultimately this was a situation where they overestimated Cabochard's ability to play.
Jack Troll's in trouble, bullet time's there, but the flash, he keeps himself safe. Skeens went into the middle of everyone. That's a huge ulti. Flash forward, Reckless in trouble as the Everfrost is there. Hantera falls, and now Vitality.Bee pushing for more. 113 jumps into the middle of everyone. Jeskler falls, he went too deep, and 113 survives. Cabochard slicing and dicing the Emperor's Divide. And KC back on top.
Vitality threw everything at Reckless to try and get him, but Jeskler didn't have the damage, and now Karmine Corp will take 3 lives in front of the Baron, and they'll take the purple worm.
And honestly, Jeskler, Ezreal is not a melee champion, just getting far too close for the second time this game. And this is the thing I said on this mid-game spike, you want good target selection. Everyone pick a target and commit, and here it was so mixed, so disjointed, and Reckless able to buy enough space. They had to overextend just to hit him, and ended up in just this mix with the Renekton, with the Volley Bear.
And this is an absolute heartbreaker for Vitality. They just had a huge swing. They just had momentum. And then it all falls apart.
And they were so close. Skeens gets the big ult here, but doesn't get Reckless in it, so you don't have the easy follow-up.
Oh my
Even
God.
Shigenda getting caught, and Jeskler dives in to try and save the fight, get something, but if you just play this front to back, you actually have a chance as Vitality.Bee, but again, main source of DPS is the Ezreal. Without him there, you don't kill anyone.
Critically, Reckless has already used his ultimate.
Yeah.
His job has been done. He's low on HP. You're giving up your positioning and putting yourself into a horrific spot to try finish him off. Kill the closest target. That is all they have to do there.
So the question now, chaps, are we getting to desperation stations for Vitality.Bee? It feels a little bit like that.
He's going to desperation station.
He's
The train is gone.
This is my favorite thing about Cyan, when he ults away and shouts cowards at the enemy that he's currently fleeing from.
But look, I think you've still got some opportunities in Vitality.Bee, right? Like, you still have a good item spike here, and as we've seen, Karmine Corp haven't exactly been the cleanest in closing this one out. If you can find, as Alex was saying, the right targets, those moments to make these picks happen, I think you can come back. But the problem is that window is very quickly closing. Third Dragon in a minute and a half. Baron makes it very difficult for you to actually defend against Karmine Corp here.
And critically, a big problem as well as a level differential. Seiken a level up, Reckless 2 levels up, Cabochard 2 levels up. They were already up in levels, but the extra experience from the Baron really solidifying that. They do a great job there. They push up and take that mid tier 2. They move over to this wave that was being pushed in by Seiken, and now they also get the top tier 2. Very efficient use of the Baron.
And crucially, Vitality.Bee have very little ways of clearing Baron minions, right? And TF, not really going to have the damage to clear a wave. Ezreal, you know, you do a bit of single target damage, but you can't clear a minion wave. It's very difficult for them to break the siege. And now, look at the gold difference. It's almost 6,000.
And now, we kind of are starting to see our answer. The question was posed at the start of the day, Vitality.Bee versus Karmine Corp. We didn't get to see them in playoffs. How right were the final standings over in the LFL? And right now, Karmine Corp trying to prove that they do deserve to be on top, that they do deserve that place in the Amazon EU Masters Finals. And it feels like with 30 seconds until this Dragon, if Seiken and Reckless can set up correctly, Vitality.Bee may not get a look in.
I think this all comes down to execution. The extra gold in favor of K-Corp is going to make this really tricky, but they have to make sure they play around the gold card and have good target selection. If they're diving too far forwards again, they will just flop.
You've Seiken top, you've Cabo bot. This could be the moment to try and get that quick pick, but unfortunately, Vitality.Bee not feeling comfortable enough to go for the play. Shigenda hovering it outside of vision.
Skins needs to be careful on this one. Actually goes for the knock-up onto Cabochard. There's going to be a gold card. There's going to be an Everfrost as well. Cabochard using the Dominus. That's quite a big cooldown pot.
Dragon now just spawned though.
Knock up towards Reckless. He flashes out to safety. It's going to be onto 113. The knock-up's there. The damage isn't though. And Hantera finds the knock-up skins. Turns gold and keeps himself safe. No mana on Shigenda. But it's going to be the kill coming out from Cabochard. I thought it was Jeskla for a second. He survived, but Diplex will not. And KC once again find their window.
And it was such a nice setup from Hantera. Manages to get in onto multiple members with the quickness. Sets up for Reckless. And you can see members of Vitality.Bee managed to keep themselves safe, but Cabochard once more with Seiken absolutely decimating people in the backline.
And the problem is the damage just isn't there right now. The volley bear with the chem tank and the anathema has changed. This 3.5 item Renekton, so despite the fact that they do actually catch out 113 there, he just soaks so much damage and still has a decent amount of HP left, able to ult out again, and then the ult comes in from Reckless, shredding the front line, and Cabochard finds this opportunity to just delete the Karma.
Yeah, deletes the Karma, but look at Seiken. Instantly goes in, gets the shove onto both Diplex and Jeskla. They've got to run for the hills because of the damage that is there for Karmine Corp, and just really well executed team fights by Karmine Corp are shutting down Vitality.Bee.
And now we are 4 minutes away from not just any old Dragon Soul, an Infernal Soul in favor of K-Corp. They've got bullet time. They've got Nazir that's scaling exceptionally. They've got Cabochard, who is 7-1-2 on his Renekton. He is dominating his old team right now, and it feels like everything is going the way
Reckless
of Vitality. Destiny, though, onto Reckless. This is the chance. Schemes goes in. Do they have the damage? True Shot Barrage is there. Cabochard trying to turn things around, but Jeskla, he's safe and sound on the backline. He's throwing out Mystic shots like no tomorrow. Cabochard tanking up. So Shigenda, but Shigenda's not quite as tanky at this point. The shield's falling. It's 4v5, and it feels like KC is still somehow winning. Diplex having to back away. Shigenda trying to go back in, but he's low on HP.
Yeah, they got to back away here. Shigenda too low. They have to push him mid, but Karmine Corp can look for the flank. Seiken is huge right now, and it doesn't matter if they don't have the AD carry. It's the mid laner you got to worry about.
Blastcone sends everyone flying on this one, but it will be the end of the play for Vitality. They have to retreat.
And ultimately, the issue is that pick is nice, but that's it. It's not a pick that's going to lead to you getting an objective. The Dragon's already long gone, not for another 3 minutes. You can't really set up for Baron or anything, so that's it. You get one kill. You didn't even burn a summoner there either.
And it feels like, as you can see, like even with Reckless gone, Seiken has enough in the tank to be a threat. Cabochard is still a monster. It feels like you need to get Seiken, but that becomes so much more difficult when he's got the stopwatch. Sonya's on the way. It just feels so hard right
And
now.
critically, Seiken has flash. Reckless will have flash for that dragon fight. Skeens and Diplex both just burnt theirs, so won't have them available. You've got to go into that fight. Oh, looking for something here.
Slow in goes Shigenda, finds the double knockup. True shot barrage, the damage, Hantera falls. Bullet time though to turn things around. It's not quite enough damage though. Cabochard will be knocked up again, but Shigenda flashing to the rest of his team. And Vitality, that's 2 in a row now.
And that's actually pretty big. I mean, the fact that you're managing to get Hantera, but again, I think it has to come back to what Ox was saying, right? You don't burn the flashes on either of them. They will be up for the next fights, but if they can move over towards Baron, it'd be great, but I don't see it with Seiken still alive, Reckless still there. You don't really get a chance to kind of turn this into something.
And the problem is, gold's nice, but you're still 7,000 just under gold behind. It's not really taking too much of a dent into it. And yet you're still burning so many resources. And now, well, once these actually start this up, they have an Azir, right? This is going to be so fast.
It will be, but it's completely on vision. As you say, Dagda, Jack Troll's trying to move in and contest somewhat. TP comes out from Shigenda. True shot barrage on Seiken, but it goes ever so slightly wide. 6k on the Baron. They're going to back away. Destiny from Diplex to join the rest of his squad.
That's so much invested by Vitality.Bee to get on towards this Baron, though. If Karmine Corp are able to recess...
Shigenda's in trouble here, but he is damn tanky on that front line. Diplex is trying to find mid-prior.
Yeah, I mean, no ult for Diplex now. You've got no TP for Shigenda. Like, these are big tools for trying to set up for this Dragon, and with only a minute left, Karmine Corp, they actually need to get a reset in here.
I will say this just feels so rough. The goal discrepancy, it's 2 levels difference between mid, between AD carry, between top laner. K-Corp is so strong right now. Vitality.Bee, they have to play the fights perfect if they want to come out ahead, and now K-Corp are looking.
Shigenda could be in trouble. Oh, not! He just rolls away with his ulti. That's quite a big ult, though. 50 seconds away from the Drake.
Yeah, but you don't really have the vision controls you need right now for Karmine Corp. Skeen's now been spotted, but he'll be able to flag and drag away. Karmine Corp now setting up vision in Vitality.Bee's jungle so they can try and move back over towards this.
Shigenda taking big damage here. He's going to be knocked back into the rest of his team. The bullet time comes across. Shigenda has fallen 30 seconds before Infernal Soul is onto the map.
And that's got to be it, right? Shigenda no TP, 40-second death timers, and Karmine Corp have already been decimating Vitality.Bee in these team fights, and that's with the tank to provide that front line. It just feels like Karmine Corp with this Infernal Soul are going to be too strong for Vitality.Bee to fight back.
Yeah, after this, honestly, they can head to the Baron, get control of the area, look for potential picks at approach. I feel like the only way Vitality.Bee get back in is from a miracle Baron steal, and even then, Infernal Soul adds so much power, I'm not sure that would be enough.
That is going to be the soul for K-Corp. That is going to be a win condition in the bank in case Seiken's 2.5 item Azir wasn't a win condition in of itself. Reckless on 3 items as well. Cabochard having an exceptional game for himself. It feels like all of those blue bricks are starting to be piled on up, and I'm starting to see a wall.
I think Vitality.Bee are as well. Gets to the point where, you know, we saw some desperate plays in this series when teams are behind. You have to start thinking about, okay, our chances of winning are low. What can we do? What are the potential options? Where can there be a mistake? Baron is somewhere where teams have countless times thrown games before. K-Corp should play pretty cautiously around this one. I mean, they're so far ahead, they don't need to rush, they don't need to go crazy. They do have Seiken on the Azir as a late game insurance, and they're already starting to establish some vision in the area.
Karmine Corp looking for that rematch against LDLC from the upper bracket in LFL, but they will be spotted out as they move around. But again, Destiny not doing a huge amount.
Yeah, not ideal. Destiny coming out, Shigenda able to block a lot of the damage. You know, K-Corp, they've broken records in the Amazon EU Masters before. First team to get back-to-back championships. They're looking to be the first team to get a reverse sweep as well. First team to be in the finals 3 times in a row. If they can just finish off Vitality. But Shigenda trying to move in, trying to face check. There's no vision on this Baron. It's so difficult to move forward.
Yeah, I think the critical thing is wait until you see Seiken. If you see him, you can presume they're not doing the Baron. But anytime he's out of vision, they're always a little bit suspicious. Good poke coming down, but Jessica takes a fair bit. The Infernal Soul helping with that as well.
He does have that red buff though, so we'll be able to sustain somewhat as KC return to this Baron once more. Are we gonna have a dance like we did in game number 1? That's the real
I would love
question.
it.
I mean, potentially here, although it looks like
They have
Reckless
started
kind
up.
of stepping aside. It has been started. As Keen's actually going to get started by Camel Shard.
Oh, there's the engage from Hantera! Goodbye, Jeskla. The bullet time. Both carries full, and K-Corp with the perfect bait.
And they're thinking this might just be enough to push up mid. Potentially look for the end. Reckless has found Agenda though. But they're
doesn't
going to
matter,
start
though.
hammering away the base.
Look at the mid lane. They're just pushing in. They don't care about the Baron. They can see it in their eyes. Karmine Corp, they're looking to go to finals once more.
The TV comes out from Shikenda. He keeps himself alive. Vitality.Bee against the ropes. It's 15 seconds until Jeskla is back on the map. But Jack Troll caught on the tower, flashes away, keeps himself safe. The minions are gone. Shikenda has arrived. K-Corp can't finish. Vitality are holding on.
And this might be a window, right? Diplex is coming up soon with his ult, with TP. Some of the health bars are low. Oh, Saker's looking for more.
He tries it, but Shikenda gets the knockup, walks away. There's Trisha Barrage. It's only on Tantera, though.
1 second for Diplex, but the tower might actually stop them from being able to go too aggressive. But Keiko will have to reset. They can't go for Baron right now.
Yeah, you're just going to see Diplex go up towards that top side, look to clear out that way. But as you say, Karmine Corp do need to reset, but I think they're looking for the pick. They're trying to play a little bit sneaky. They know that Saken's backing, so now they can just look to collapse on the 3 members that are left.
Destiny comes on out. Can they find Reckless? There's a gold card. There's an Frost, but no follow-up from the rest of the team. Over the TP from Saken. It's now KC's turn to aggress. Knock up onto 1-1-3. Bit of damage out from Jeskla. Cabbage shot getting onto Jack Troll. He one-shots him. Jack Troll destroyed. And now Shikenda on the front line, but he's just not tanky enough. The rest of the team moving on forward. And Terra turns golden. In goes Skeens, and down he drops. 1-1-3. The amount of nanoseconds the Vitality.Bee members survive in these fights. Saken moving forward. And K-Corp might just have done it against all odds. They look for the reverse sweep. They disable the towers, and they destroy the health bars of Vitality. Diplex, Jeskla trying to hold on. Health bars are low, though. Maybe they can't end again.
Really? They're not ending. Shikenda with his dying breath is just slapping them away from the turret, saying, go home, you're not wanted here. But they can have a quick stop off at Shop the Baron and make sure they're able to pick up a little bit of those goodies for themselves.
1-1-3 Smite is coming up soon. Should I have it up in time to secure this? And Skeens is miles away. It's also an Elder Dragon in a minute 30. Oh, this ult is no Smite right now, but a bit too soon.
Terra nearly died.
Yeah, keeping it interesting, keeping it close.
Yeah, ultimately, still heavily K-Corp favored. And you see in this fight, the thought process is okay, he's backing. That is a little bit bugged. He wasn't there. He was where his soldier was. But they look for the engage. The TPs instantly dissuade them. And then it's K-Corp able to re-engage. And Hantera, you know, his quickness is just coming up here. But it's ultimately Cabo Shot who just slaps Jack Troll.
And it's 1-1-3 in Cabo Shard, so consistently been able to position themselves in front of any of these people that Diplex looks to pick off. So Jeskla isn't getting that follow-up damage. Same when you look towards Skeens, and they're keeping folks up. And Skeens, unfortunately, kind of gives his life for the greater good there, so the rest of Vitality.Bee can escape. And at least for the moment, hold on. But it doesn't feel like there's much left in the tank here for Vitality.Bee.
I will say they are flat out refusing to lose this game and just hold on, but it's still overwhelming odds. 10k gold deficit, Baron in hand, Infernal Soul, and Elder in 30 seconds. This is the last-ditch effort for Vitality.Bee.
You have to respect the gumption here from Vitality.Bee to be holding on in this game, but the experience trumps it from KC. So many great players on this roster that have been playing for so long, that have achieved so much. And it feels like they might just be achieving one more finals. Elder up in 10 seconds time, and K-Corp have complete and utter control.
You gotta hope for a miracle. You gotta hope for an overextension, but Karmine Corp aren't giving it to them.
Trying to go for the dive here. The tower is gone. Engaged from Shikenda. Backs away again. 1-1-3 knocked up, but there's just no damage available from Vitality. The minions blocking Jeskla, and he's the only damage source. Oh my God, what a bullet time! Reckless has had a quiet series, but he's having a loud finish as he takes 2 down. And now surely that'll be one more brick in the blue wall. Back-to-back champions, the first ever reverse sweep, and now finals for a 3rd time in a row. K-Corp are indomitable.
K-Corp have done it. Let the LFL shout out proud, as it will be Corp against LDLC as the first ever reverse sweep.
A chance to defend their title. No team, no org has ever won twice.